Cowboys got blown out. Once a rival, always a rival from the Eagles' all-time rushing leader. Chase, born and raised in Dallas is what you were. A Dallas high school football legend is what you were. Somebody who grew up during the Cowboys' heyday, seeing the Cowboys dominate the early 90s. You were there. You were at the old stadium in Arlington, whatever it may be, in Irving. So, Chase, you've seen the Cowboys for years now.
Yeah, long time.
But where did the Cowboys go wrong this season?
The season was doomed before it even got to a season. And I mean that, and I go back to Jerry Jones's all-in comments. Like the all-in comments. What does all-in tell us here at the desk? That you are pushing all your chips into the pot. Okay, I like that. However, it breeds this sort of confidence that you're actually going to make some moves to get better. What did they do? They signed a 29-year-old long snapper.
That's it?
Wait.
That's it?
Yo, that's all in? And then what do? You go and you sign Linval Joseph, 36 years old. Later on the road, you sign Eric Kendricks, 32 years old. And then you go back and you sign Zeke, who's 29. So you sign all these guys that don't really move the needle much. And you do this before you give your head coach an extension or fire him. So they had all this stuff, and then you have a lame duck head coach in Mike McCarthy, which for me, everyone knew he was a lame duck head coach going into the season. I like that term. Because when I say lame duck, the lame duck is sort of by himself. And he's not with the other group. So this uneasiness in the locker room from this lame duck head coach, you don't know who your leader is. So you can just do what you want. You can go on podcasts. You can talk about these, what we were talking about with and all this stuff, and there's no repercussions from it. There's nobody at the top. Your head coach is supposed to be the leader. And not saying he's not. But when you don't give him a contract, you're saying, we aren't sure you're going to be the guy. So then how do you think that trickle-down effect to the locker room is? So you have the owner and GM, Jerry Jones, not doing his part, and you have Mike McCarthy, lame duck. So it was doomed before the season even started because of those two reasons.
Jay.
Oh, man, where do we start?
Made a good argument, right?
You did. Where do we start with the Dallas Cowboys? Number one, free agency, zero aggressive. Right? Chase just talked about that. Your quarterback not playing at an elite level. Injuries happen during the football season. Trade deadline comes. The world is telling you, Jerry.
Do something.
Do something.
Anything.
You can't compete with what you got, Jerry. The world is telling you. He does nothing. And he leaves Mike McCarthy out there with the roster he has. Before the season started, we knew that this was a problem. And Jerry Jones did not address any of the issues of the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't address the number 2 receiver, the number 3 receiver. He didn't address the running back. He didn't address the O-line. All he did was pay Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and you did not have nothing around them to go out there and compete, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The Dallas Cowboys have so many problems. The problem started so many places. I cannot put my finger on one place, and that is why they sitting here the way they looking right now at 3-7, and they don't even look like they can compete with any team in the National Football League, and that includes the worst teams that you think out there, the Carolina Panthers, whoever you think. They cannot compete with them. The Dallas Cowboys problem started way, way long ago, man, before training camp even hit. Crazy thing is all of us seen it up here and Jerry didn't.
And he didn't.
That's the problem.
You saw a lot. You said the Cowboys might not win 8 games this year. I was shocked when you said it. I was confused when you said it.
Not now,
you look more right than ever.
Not now, though.
Not now.
Not now. That's how it happens.
Shady, where did the Cowboys go wrong, man?
Well, a lot what you guys said, right? But I think the bigger picture is the front office. I think they didn't realize, right, the real situation of the talent on his team. You look at the years before where they had all this talent and they didn't get no type of wins in the postseason, right? So now moving forward, okay, he talked about we're all in, and at this time, Dak didn't have a contract. CeeDee Lamb didn't have a contract. And the head coach didn't have a contract. Right? And we say, you know what? They should play it out. Play it out, maybe put some money to different players, free agency, all these different things, because you ain't spending money on the wide receiver or the quarterback. But when you decide to pay Dak Prescott, he's not that quarterback that can elevate a team with less talent. We've seen it.
Found it out.
Right? So my thing is, instead of paying him or being on the hook for $270 million, because you can't get away from that now.
Yeah.
Allocate some of that money to different players on different teams, trades. There's guys you might trade for that might need a contract. Now you have the money to pay them. Now you can't do that. And you thought that you had a $60 million quarterback that could elevate the whole roster, and you don't have that. Because as much as we want to talk about the Chiefs and this, that, and the third, they are down. They're starting running back, right? They are down. There's their number one receiver, the number two receiver. People they forget about all that, and they still are 9-1. Dak Prescott's not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Dak Prescott is not Josh Allen.
No.
Stephon Diggs is leaving. What are we going to do? How are we going to still win? You got Josh Allen to do that, elevate the team.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, they don't have that. So my first issue I have was the front office not understanding what they really have in the locker room as far as talent-wise, and that your quarterback is not what you think he really is.
Too much money.
Here's what's fascinating is the front office, Jerry Jones, he didn't understand the lack of talent that the Cowboys had. But the Cowboys in the locker room, they even understood the lack of talent that they had. I remember July 26th, a month before the season even started.
Also, real quick, we're not talking enough about effort.
I was just going to say, the lack of effort on that is concerning.
And seeing this tape right here, I've seen this over and over again with the Cowboys. This is not the first time I've seen this type of effort. The dude breaks loose to safety. It's like he don't want to tackle. The quarterbacks, they don't want to tackle. And I'm used to quarterbacks not tackling.
Yeah.
But, give me a little effort, though. A little cut block, something like that, a little chop block or something like that. Another thing is, on the defensive line, it ain't just one person that's getting steamed rolled like that.
Yeah.
Y'all watched tape yesterday? They all was getting bullied over and over and over again. So, as much as we're going to talk about the players and personnel and getting this player and getting that player, we need to talk about effort. Effort don't take no talent.
That's very well said. Like you do sometimes when you dating, you be ignoring red flags.
Ooh.
But it's time we stop. It's time we stop ignoring the red flags for the
Shady
Chiefs.
say he don't ignore them red flags. Show me who you are.
I think, Shady, I got to ask you, is it time we stop ignoring the Chiefs' red flags?
What red flags, though? What are we even talking about? The Chiefs?
Yes, sir.
They got banners. They got red banners. They got red banners, though.
They got banners.
Yo, it's crazy because, if we didn't see this Chiefs happen like this before, I would be tripping. But they did the same thing last year. They played well.
Yep.
And they 9-1 this year, though. They 9-1 not playing so well. And earlier I talked about this. Patrick Mahomes, right? Because you're going to say he's not playing well and the numbers and all that stuff that I don't want to hear. But he don't have his number one receiver.
Two.
He don't have his number two receiver.
True.
Right? He don't have his number one running back.
True.
And he still is balling. They're winning.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Last year, right? Because you're saying the red flags.
I hear you.
Last year, they did not have the number one seed. They used to have the number one seed. They didn't have the number one seed last year. They had to go through everybody.
Yeah, on the road.
All the top quarterbacks. I got to go through this Josh Allen dude. Tua, I don't even play him in that category, but Tua's good. Had to go through him. I got to go through Lamar Jackson, that defense. So what? Done. Did. Over. So my question is, when you ask me, red flag, what red flag?
Shame on you, LeSean McCoy.
What red flag you talking
Shame
about?
on you, LeSean
Let's hear this,
McCoy.
though.
Shame on you. You know what they say, James. You know what they say, Chase. Fool me once, shame on you.
All right.
Fool me twice.
Can't get fooled again.
I like that song.
Shady.
Wait, where you getting, wait, before y'all happening and giggling and all that, what part are you getting food on?
You, last year, we saw this story before with another team you were a part of.
Ooh.
The Eagles started 9-1 last year. The Chiefs start 9-1 this year.
Yo, we about to talk about the
Eagles
Chiefs.
had six
Shady, he did
one-score
this.
wins last year. The Chiefs through 10 games have 7 one-score wins this year. The Chiefs point differential this year plus 49. The Eagles plus 61. Turnover differential. The Chiefs are -5. All year, Chase, you weren't here, but James and we had to listen to it. I said, Shady, please. It matters. Shady said, it don't matter. The Eagles ain't losing. I said, Shady, please. It matters. Said Acho, it don't matter. The Eagles. I said, Shady, it matters. Then all of a sudden, Shady said, wait a second, Acho. You was right. It mattered. Shady, you saw this story last year with another team you care a lot about.
Put it back
At
on.
what point
Put it back
you
on.
start to
Put
care?
it back on. Put it back
At
on.
what
Put it back
point,
on.
Shady? You've seen this story before. This is the same woman. The same woman who stepped out on us.
Respectfully, because that's my team and that's my quarterback to the left. Respectfully, the guy to the left, Jalen Hurts, is nowhere like the guy on the right, number 15.
True.
So I never say about the Eagles, that's the Chiefs. And they got Andy Reid and they got Patrick Mahomes. They got this. It's we've been disrespectful though, real talk.
A red flag is a red flag, Shady McCoy.
The only thing is, there's one thing missing on this whole little diagram you got going on. You know what it is?
What's that?
Championship.
Trophy. My man got championships. How can you?
Plural.
Yo, let me take this airplane. I don't want to talk to y'all. I'm talking to them. issue with me is this. How can we even compare these guys, though? Why are we talking about the Eagles and the Chiefs? Why are we doing that?
Because last year we saw an Eagles team go to the Super Bowl the year before. Like the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl
That's what?
the year before.
Oh, the Eagles did go to the Super Bowl.
Last year, we saw the same Eagles go to the Super Bowl the year before and start 9-1. They started 10-1. And I was begging, pleading. I've never pleaded like something like this in my life, saying, Shady, please, it matters, big dog. Acho, what's the main thing? I said, winning. He said, Acho. He raised his voice. What's the main thing? I said, winning, sir. Acho, what's the... I said, okay, it's winning. And then it finally caught up to him. When will you care about the Chiefs' tackle issues? When will you care about Travis Kelce actually not stepping up like he's done so many times, a future first ballot Hall of Famer? When will you care about the lack of receiving threat? When will you care about L'Jarius Sneed's absence and Watson being hurt? When will you care about Mahomes leading the league in picks? Because you didn't care when Hurts did last year until you had to.
So did you care last year?
When will you care?
Did you care last year when the Chiefs' offense wasn't like it was?
I did.
In the past?
I did.
Did you care last year when they had the most drops to wide receivers in football?
I did.
Did you care when Mahomes was throwing picks to a lot of teams, too, like the Jets? Lost to the Jets because he threw a lot of picks.
Last year.
Did you care about that?
I did.
Did you care about the 6 losses last year?
I
Did you care about them going against the top seed AFC Ravens? Did you care about that? Lamar Jackson, the MVP?
I did.
Did you care about that?
I did.
Because guess what? It didn't matter. Because the regular season, they didn't look so great in the regular season. So, but they got to the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes number 15.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even, this is crazy.
All that's true by both of y'all.
You said
He owes the fine, though, dog.
brilliantly. You said brilliantly when you introduced this topic.
Yes, sir.
Time to stop ignoring the Chiefs'
Red flag.
You said while you're dating, you ignore it, right? And if there's some red flags when I was dating or when Shady was dating or you were dating, you're probably walking away from that, right?
Dating, Jace.
But
Still dating.
okay, you still date, even though the red flags.
Shady said I'm still
However,
in the streets, dog.
we're married to the Chiefs, dog. And when you're married to the Chiefs, you've proven to me time and time again, there's always some red flags. You're just going to ignore them for a little bit. Okay? But can these red flags, are they going to pop up at certain times? Are you going to have to work through some issues in your marriage? Of course. No one's like this in marriage, right? There's ups, there's downs, there's ups, there's downs.
Talk to me, Chase.
You don't have to do it while you're dating. Dating, you just walk away from it completely. When we were dating the Chiefs 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I was like, man, they're really good. We should probably talk about these red flags.
That's good, Chase.
But when they're married, you walk through it and you fix it as you go through it. But you know at the end of the day, you're going to survive. You're going to be married for 50 years. That's the Chiefs for me, man. Like, look, the offense isn't playing well. They're not great in the red zone. Mahomes, they're leading the league in interceptions. So what? They're 9-1. They're probably working through that right now. The thing is, we can ignore their red flags because their red flags are much, much less compared to other red flags around the league. And so they're still the class of the NFL. So we're married to the Chiefs because they've proven time and time again they have a championship pedigree. If we were dating, I'm going away. We're married to the Chiefs.
My dog Cook.
That's good. And one thing I do know about marriage, too.
That's why he's not married.
Yeah.
That's why he's not married.
And one thing I do know about marriage, too, is when some of them different red flags start showing up, Chase.
What happened?
Divorce!
D-word. I don't believe in the D-word.
You may not. No. There's a lot of people around the world that
Not
do,
me.
Chase. All right, there's a lot of people that's divorced around here. Like, man, she was tripping. He was tripping. Right now, I am with Acho.
My dog. I ain't know you. My dog. Don't let me hang. I know you.
I got you. I'm with Acho. And we shouldn't necessarily be worried about the red flags because that's where Shady is. Like, why are we worried about it? The Kansas City Chiefs should be worried about the red flags. We won a Super Bowl, and the next year we started the year 15-1. And that year we started 15-1, we weren't playing like the year we won the Super Bowl. We are coming in the building, watching tape and say, man, we squeaking out some wins, but we not playing good football right now. We not good at this. We not good at this. We turning the ball over. We knew it. And eventually we were like, man, if we keep playing like this, and when we're playing, you think next game gonna be the game. We're gonna look how we're supposed to look. But we didn't. And we ended up losing in the playoffs. At home, number 1 seed. We ended up losing because the same things in the regular season finally caught up to us and showed up in the postseason. The red flags that we was trying to ignore, we in the building like, it'll get fixed, we find a ways to win game, they never got fixed. And it caught up to us in the playoffs. So in the building right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not good at taking care of the football. If you're not good in the National Football League, taking care of the football, I don't care who you are, you're going to lose some games. And it might catch you in the playoffs. They have been getting away with it. This year, they might not get away with it if these red flags continue to keep happening. Patty Mahomes is the best player on the planet, and he's not playing like the best player on the planet right now. And they're squeaking away wins, and it'll eventually catch up with them. They have to fix the red flags. They are not good on the offensive side of the ball. They're turning the football over at a high rate. Patty Mahomes is not playing well. They cannot really run the ball really well. They have a lot of red flags, and they need to get them fixed inside that building, James, or it will not be a three-peat.
James, were their offense way better last year?
Patty was way better last year.
In the regular season, was he?
What I'm saying,
I don't agree.
No.
In the regular season,
The way Patrick Mahomes was playing last year, he had a lot of drop footballs. This year, Patty's not even making them throws and plays.
What I'm asking you, on the offensive side,
yes.
I don't know how it looks. On the offensive side, were they playing a lot better than they are now on offense?
I believe so.
A lot better?
I believe
That's
so.
Not true.
The way it looks.
That's not true, for one. We all was a question like, man, can the Chiefs win the way their offense looks? That was a big question mark. That was a red flag. It ended up in the championship. I'm not saying nothing against y'all Super Bowl run because y'all were really, really good. Y'all beat us and y'all went to win the championship. Cool. You say y'all was 15-1 the next year. What I'm saying is, respectfully, it's two different teams. It's like I'm sitting here listening to you and Acho talk as if we're not talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know a team that's more coached better than an Andy Reid coach team. Can we agree on that? I don't know, even though Josh playing better, Lamar's playing better, Joe Burrow, hell, he's playing better than Pat. But none of us up here would even utter the words and say that. They would take the other dudes in front of Patrick Mahomes.
Best player in the world.
And then you talk about the culture of a team. We used to winning. At our worst right now, y'all keep talking about, we're 9-1. And last year, we wasn't super better last year, and we won a championship. And the last thing I want to say to y'all, because I'm done with it, it's like really crazy we've been having this conversation about the Chiefs. We talking about a three-peat. You guys sending red flags and worried about this, about a team that wins over and over again, that's well coached, one of the best coaches in football, and then one of the best quarterbacks ever touched a football. Y'all worry about them?
Yes.
So then the question for me then, Chase, when do you worry? Because as I look at it, the Chiefs' defense, I'm a defensive player, the lone defensive player at the desk, is not the same defense it was last year. Not by points, not by yards, not even by talent, unfortunately. Chiefs have some injuries, plus L'Jarius Sneed, one of the best cornerbacks, at least had one of the best years last year. He walked out the building, he went to the Titans. Chiefs' defense is not the same defense they were last year. Offensively, I think the Chiefs are marginally worse. At a minimum, the Chiefs' best player, Travis Kelce, is not exponentially worse, but he's definitely worse. Last year, I think he had 976 receiving yards. He probably on pace for like 400 or 500. So at a minimum, what we know is Travis Kelce has statistically and by output gotten worse. Say Mahomes is the same. I don't suggest he is, but say he is. I'm with Shady. I don't think it's a drastic difference, but I do think there's a marginal difference. Travis Kelce, we know, is a substantial difference. Without Travis Kelce last year, they don't win the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
They don't win the Super Bowl. Game number one. Exactly right.
Yes.
And versus Kyle Hamilton and the Baltimore Ravens, Travis Kelce put the team on his back.
Pat don't get none of that?
He does. But Travis Kelce had to catch that back shoulder fade to start the game.
Beautiful
so
ball.
without Kelce, at a minimum without Kelce, we know the Chiefs don't make that run. And without the Chiefs' defense, they don't make that run. So say that Mahomes is the same. We know Kelce's gotten worse. We know that at least he's playing worse. Shout out to Travis. We know the defense has gotten worse. But you're not worried, like, at all?
I think for me, I know Andy Reid, and I've been in those offensive meetings along with Shady in Andy Reid's offensive staff rooms. And I'm going to always go with one of the best head coaches in the game in Andy Reid. So you don't think they're worried about it in the building?
Yes,
Of course they are. And you know what coaching does? You coach it out of them. You figure out ways to consistently evolve in your offense, because that's what they had to do last year. When I watched Patrick Mahomes last year versus this year, last year, he didn't have receiving threats at all. Even Kelce, the first 10 games of the year, was not the same guy. And so what did they do? They did more quick game passing. They did more fun, cool stuff to scheme guys open. They're working through that right now. This is the first loss. They're really comfortable playing in one game possessions. They've won 7 of those, right? And I think you have to go with the coach. Of course, he's worried about it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to sit back and be like, Coach Reid's going to fix it. Coach Reid's going to scheme it up. Coach Reid's going to do this. And I would disagree, other than Sneed, their defense is not that far off from where they were. I mean, let's be real. They're 31 straight games without allowing 28 points till this past game. That's legit.
Yeah, no, they're good.
And they won 15 in a row
Yep.
before they lost one game. So I don't want to hit the panic button right now. And I believe in Coach Reid of getting it fixed. That's why I'm not worried about it.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.